almost at 6 o'clock, so we'll call the workshop order, and ask Commissioner Reddy to pray for us tonight.
Our gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us the chance to join here tonight. As always, we ask for your wisdom and judgment as we make the county's decisions. We ask that you bless our men and women in harm's way, our military, our first responders. We ask you continue to look down upon us and bless this county and this nation. In Jesus' most precious holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, all. All right, have anybody in the audience who would like to speak to us for 5 minutes or less about anything? All right, seeing no movement, we have a public hearing, 4.1 project completion of CDBG project 19 PY 137-1-6164, the Phillipsburg Street drainage improvements, phase 1.
Mr. Chairman, this is a requirement for our DCA CDBG, or by DCA for us to close out our CDBG grant. The purpose of the public hearing is to answer any questions that citizens might have, and which we don't have any here tonight for completion of that project, but you know, we're prepared to answer questions. And Mr. Watkins apparently is late, but
He'll be here Monday.
He'll be here Monday for the regular public hearing. Yeah, I'm sorry. A little slow uptake. Does anybody have any questions tonight that we can answer that for the public hearing, which will be held on Monday? You know, it's bad to say this is a formality. When you get to the end of the project's complete, it is a formality. But it's a requisite that required for the completion, successful closeout.
All right, any questions? Okay. Then the second public hearing, 4.2, resolution number 2025-02, text amendment to amend chapter 2, zoning districts and uses, section 2.02.01 generally, and section 2.02.04 US Highway 82 West Corridor overlay, and adding section 2.02-05 US Highway 319 South Corridor overlay to the Tift County Unified Development Code.
Mr. Chairman, staff has looked at this, and you know, we did an overlay, a commercial overlay on 82 West. Was the first one that we've done, and we put a great deal of thought into the one in 319, and really wanted to have the language in it tight and concise as we move forward with this new method of our new toolbox in our zoning, new tool in our zoning toolbox, I should say. So we've done a fair amount of work on it, but as we do on before every work session, the county attorney and I were looking at this, and there's a little bit of tightening up that we would like to do. When I say tightening up, I strictly mean some definitions and some clarity where there's some ambiguity in the language. We would ask, if the board is willing to indulge us, that we table this for 30 days, not to send it back in front of the planning commission. The planning commission's approved the concept's not changing, but there's some language that we would like to include in the text that's not there, and we feel like if we can have that time, it will make it a better ordinance and bring clarity to it. If anybody's got issues with that, so we'll be asking you to table that at our regular meeting.
All right, any questions, comments? All right. Okay, the items to be discussed for the regular session on January 13th is 5.1, agreement with funding the prosecution-based MOCA program. Jody?
Thank you, yes, sir. So here I am again. But it's been 2 years, I guess, because me and Bryce got our dates mixed up last year, so we missed y'all. So thank you, Mr. Walker, for standing in for us that last year. But and last year was when our grant got hit with cuts. So we went from a previous grant amount of $204,000, and 525, 204, 525, and we've now gone to 130,000. So anyway, quite a difference. So, but the state has funded a position, so that position is no longer a county funded position. So that did help balance things out. So we have started our new grant year, as always, October 1, and here we are in January after a whole quarter And now we have the, paperwork once more for you to sign off on so that y'all can get your reimbursement for what you've already invested in. So we thank you for your continued support. Last federal grant year, we served 2,299 victims, and we provided almost 18,000 services. So you've got advocates that are working in this circuit for you guys. So we definitely appreciate your support. We need your support. And for those of you who've not already met our acting DA, Mr. Patrick Warren is here with me tonight. You want to say anything, Patrick?
No, just Jody, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. There you go. So your dollars are working.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, put this on consent agenda. 5.2, Security System Support Agreement. Al?
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I have before you a renewal for software and hardware maintenance contract that covers all of our security camera servers as well as our door lock controllers that we have deployed throughout the county buildings. We have an EOC, law enforcement center, admin building, recreation, EMS, fire, juvenile court, and the courthouse buildings. This is a maintenance agreement that we have with Nova Communications of America. Specifies 8 to 5 service time on non-emergency calls. Emergency calls are 4-hour and 24-hour, 7 days a week. And we are able to determine when there is we can have the authority to declare an emergency. An emergency to them would be 50% of the servers down, or if it interrupts operations such as the jail, which utilizes this equipment, 24 hours a day. It covers parts, and also covers their labor to diagnose and to repair. This is a 6-month contract. We opted for a 6-month contract in consultation with the finance director to kind of get all these annual contracts in line with our fiscal year.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the contract that's in your package on your screen is not the latest contract. I changed it on my computer, but evidently getting it to this
To give some
room.
clarity, the changes made when Tony and I reviewed, or now and I reviewed it, and then I reviewed it with Tony. If you're looking at the agreement, when you come down to actually the bottom of page
Page
2, paragraph B, that indemnification language that you see there has been struck. And paragraph C, which is covered parties, is now paragraph B. MCA has approved of the changes that Mr. Rao made, and have actually signed this. So we have a copy with that indemnification language removed, and it's been approved by their legal team, and MCA signed it. So that is, other than changes some, if you go back and if you look at the top of this agreement, if it's what I think it is, you'll see that there is some, talks about they've already made the 6-month changes. So the only thing that's not corrected in this one, I think, is the indemnification language. We can have that ready for you in your packet for Monday night. But so the change is that remove the indemnification clause. Spit that out.
All right, still good on consent agenda.
I
I have a question. So it's, that price that's on there, that's for 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
So in 6 months, we're gonna pay that again. How long are we gonna keep it at 6 months? Is this just, this
what-
one time is 6 months?
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So we've tried to move all our contracts to mirror our fiscal year rather than some calendar year contracts, so that we have contract renewal all starting when our budget starts, instead of hitting in the middle of a budget year and splitting budget years. Because if we start in January, part of that contract is in one fiscal year, and then the tail end of it's in another fiscal year. So by moving it, doing 6 months and getting it on a June to July, or July to June schedule, it keeps it all in one fiscal year.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody okay putting on consent agenda? All right, thank you. All right, 5.3, FY 25 EMS trauma-related equipment grant application. Mr. Fowler?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The first item I have is the 2025 Georgia Trauma Commission Equipment Grant. This grant is done annually, and how they get these numbers, they take every licensed service and the amount of trucks that they have staffed, ambulances staffed daily, and divide that money out and then allocate it to each county. And this is for zone providers only, so no private ambulance services. They have to be a zone provider in one of our 159 counties. So this year, our grant, we were allocated $7,119.94. And with that, the EMS department is asking to purchase some trauma arrest bags and some suction units, 2 suction units, and an advanced airway mannequin for training on innovation. So the total for that goes over that grant amount by $133.49, which we have budgeted. So that's what we're asking your approval on for that grant. This is a reimbursement grant, so as soon as we send it, we send in the information and they'll reimburse us.
Any questions? Consent agenda? Okay, thank you. All right, while you're there, 5.4, recipient, sub-recipient agreement with GEMA HS for Tropical Storm Debbie reimbursement.
Yes, sir. So this is for Tropical Storm Debbie, and most of that project is completed with our FEMA rep. So the next step in that is for us to get our reimbursement, and we need the sub-recipient agreement signed prior to them giving us the funding for that.
Okay, any questions? Consent agenda? All right, and then 5.5, recipient, sub-recipient agreement for GEMA HS for the hazard mitigation grant program.
So this is for our, wasn't too long ago, we finalized our last hazard mitigation program. This is a 5-year process pretty much. So this one will not be due until, I think it's late 27 is when this one will be final, but it takes quite a bit of time for us to get through that. So this is the same thing, recipient, sub-recipient agreement with GEMA Homeland Security for us to move forward, and we generally use a contractor to collect the data that's required for this mitigation plan update.
Any questions? Consent agenda?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe. 5.6, LMIG 25, approved for grant application. Jason?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Yeah.
If you'll remember, FY 24 LMIG, we had Red Oak Road Bridge and the paving of Red Oak Road. County's doing the the dirt and the drainage work, and we've already got half of the road built, ready for asphalt. We have a pre-construction, pre-bid meeting tomorrow on the bridge, so we'll be doing that here shortly. What we're gonna do is include 2024 and 2025 together, and we're adding the existing part of the paved Red Oak Road to be resurfaced, Academy Drive in Chula, and Brookfield Nashville Road, the one that goes from Whitley Road out to the Berry County line by the old Patrick's Fishing Paradise. That road, it's a road that, if you didn't know it was in the county, you wouldn't drive that often. It's in pretty bad, real bad shape. Adding all this together, we're looking at around $1.7 million. If you put the 2 LMIGs together, we're at about $1.5 million. So the rest of it will be our 10% match, and we'll use that with SPLOST funds.
Academy Drive is the one that runs for First Baptist Church.
You got it. It's the one that goes out to the interchange in Chula, yes, sir.
All right, any questions? Consent agenda?
And if I may be excused, Chairman, Commissioners, and Mr. Carter, I've got a basketball game to
No,
attend.
sir, I don't think
You
so.
know,
You're a little old to play
You want
basketball.
fries with that?
well, but I'll let you do it. Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a great evening.
5.7, contract for professional court services incorporated for misdemeanor probation services for state court. Mr. Carter?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is an annual agreement contract with Professional Court Services, Inc., misdemeanor probation service, which is followed by, and I'll just cover them both at once, contract by Professional Court Services for, one's for Superior Court, and the other one is for State Court. Both Judge Judge Reinhardt have reviewed this contract. It's not changed since we looked at it last year. That time, if you remember, I think the board decided they wanted to do this on a year-to-year basis. This is a one-year agreement, correct? Is it not, Madam Clerk? So the language is exactly the same, and the duration of the contract is 12 months.
Any questions? Consent agenda? And then also consent agenda for 5.8 for the Superior Court. Everybody okay with that? Yes. All right, 5.9, Superior Court Judge renovation. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Chairman, as the board is aware, state legislature and the governor approved, and the governor actually, appointed a judge, so we have a third judge. The current judge's office suite does not have space to accommodate the third judge. I talked to you guys, we went out and solicited bids. That judge has been sworn in and is in dire need of someplace to park himself and the staff that will be coming, which will be provided by the state. Bids were solicited from 4 local contractors to renovate space formerly occupied by the court reporters. The low bid was submitted by McCray Construction Management in the amount of $43,050. And that's being paid for from contingency, is that correct? From contingency money, we have the money to pay for it. And we just need you guys to bless that. Try to have him in by the 1st of February.
Any questions? Consent agenda? Thank you. 5.10, user agreement with GCIC for non-criminal justice fingerprinting. Miriam?
This agreement is required in order for me to view the results from the fingerprinting for alcohol beverage applicants. And we have to do this every 2 years, 2-year agreement.
All right, any questions? Consent agenda. 5.11, alcohol beverage license application submitted by Jonathan R. Sharpari for Tifton, 2509 Incorporated, located at 2509 South Main Street, and for Enigma Gas Incorporated, located at 2554 US Highway 82 East.
This applicant has applied for 2 different locations. Both locations previously had an application, but they did not turn in their renewal application, so they had to do it as a new applicant. And so I have sent these to the sheriff. He's reviewed them and recommends approval.
Any questions? Consent agenda. Okay, thank you. 5.12, resolution number 2025-01, Board of Assessor appointment. Hayward?
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
What you got before you is a reappointment for Mr. Frankie Mathis. His term ended December 31st of 2024. So it's up to you all if y'all would like to reappoint him again for another 6-year term and get him to working again here in a week or 2 once you get him appointed.
6-year term, huh? Y'all
Yes, and
think
he's just completed his first full 6-year term. He came in kind of in the middle of the term when he got appointed initially.
Okay. We'll have this Monday night like any other board appointment, right? Okay. Thank you, sir. 5.13, resolution number 2025-03, the setting of the millage rate. Mr. Carter?
Mr. Chairman, we do this every year. That will be on the 13th. That's when that's scheduled for. Hopefully we'll have, I think we're waiting one more meeting with the school board, and then we'll levy that at our regular meeting.
All right. I don't see anything listed in items for discussion, but are you gonna talk about this request for?
Yes, I was gonna do it at county manager's item, so.
Okay, all right, well, that's next.
That's next. You guys have a packet in front of you from Senator Cardin Summers, and, I'll just read it for the folks that are here in the audience. During the May 24th primary, the Georgia Republican Party included 8 questions on a statewide ballot. One of these questions gauged support for Georgia Republican voters for a statewide referendum on gaming, not any specific form of gaming, but the removal of the prohibition on all gaming in the state, including resort-style casinos and sports betting. Georgia Republican voters overwhelmingly supported a statewide referendum with an average of 81.39% voting in favor. The measure passed in every county across Georgia with approval rates ranging from 75 to 90%. Attached is a breakdown of each county, including the one you represent, showing the exact numbers in total. Goes on. While the Democratic Party did not include a singular question on the ballot, available polling suggests Democrats and independents are also largely in favor of the opportunity to vote on the issue. And I'm going to skip down a little bit. My legislation will be simple, constitutional amendment that requires 2/3 majority in both House and Senate. The amendment stipulates that the first $2 billion of revenue generated from legal gain will be distributed directly and evenly among all 159 counties. This measure will result in several $1 million in additional revenues for each county to be used for transportation infrastructure, jails, and other critical needs. So it goes on. What he's asking for is a referendum, I think, a resolution of support for the board to ask that this be placed on the ballot for a vote in front of, by the voters of Georgia. He called me yesterday, I think, he's energetic about this. I think he's passionate about it, and I think there's somewhere that, when they say gambling, gaming, that is gambling. And I think his exact words, whether you're against gambling or not, we support, express that. I think his word express that in the voting booth. But I think he asked that the local officials agree to let the voters make that determination. This is his words to me. I'm trying to. That's a little bit of a paraphrase, but it's pretty close to a direct quote. So I'll try to answer any questions.
Which ballot would it go on? The one coming up? That's the city.
Well, no, it would have to go on
I don't know if that's on
a
the
general election ballot, so, but it'll have to be approved in this session to go on the next ballot, which I think will be in November. Is that right, Mr. Chairman? Do you recall? You spent time in Atlanta. Go back and try to remember.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think if we got anything coming up in November that would be on this time, but.
I can't think of, that's when it would have to be,
Mhm.
I think. But I get some clarification on that before Monday night.
I just don't see where he needs a resolution from Tift County to do what he wants to do. His proposed letter, though, here I'm writing to urge your support for allowing Georgia voters the opportunity to decide on proposed constitution to legalize and regulate sports betting and casino gambling. I just prefer Tift County not be on record as seemingly supporting gambling and casino gambling and sports betting, but that's just my thoughts.
I like what he said, give the voters the opportunity to say yeah or nay.
We're gonna need some official guidance on this, and I know there's a fair amount of stuff in the packet there. If y'all want to review that, so we can have some additional discussion on it Monday night. And I told him it would be after the regular meeting before I'd get back in touch with him. So if y'all want to talk amongst yourselves and kind of get a feel for where everybody's at, and I'll reach back out to Senator Summers post Monday. That's okay with everybody.
All right, everybody good with that? All right. Mr. Carter, you have anything else?
Just a quick executive session, Mr. Chairman.
Please don't say that.
I make a vow right now, I'm not even gonna talk.
Mr. Rowell, you have anything right now?
Take some oxygen after that.
You didn't hear me as
Melissa?
Just want to thank everybody that came out to the next rock. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for coming and doing the welcome. No, you did the prayer and the pledge for us, and I appreciate it. We had a great evening. The children was super excited about Matt and Nat. And we have a sock drive coming up February 22nd, asking for new socks. Please, new socks. And I would like for our board, if each one of you gentlemen would give me one pair of socks, I would really appreciate it. New socks. Don't let your wife clean out your sock drawer and say, take these to Melissa.
You got Christmas you don't wear.
That's right. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right,
And Happy New Year's to everyone.
Did we have a Mustang Sally performance?
We did, I'm sorry, we did have a Mustang Salad performance. We sure
That's my
did.
first and only, because that's back on.
He sure did, we sure did. Yeah.
Donnie,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Greg,
Nothing.
Paul.
Happy New Year.
All right. Okay, we do need a executive session for legal.
Yes.
We have,
So moved.
okay, and a second. All in favor, we're left. I had my.